Tonight, America is mourning. We didn't just lose a star, we lost a legend, a piece of history.
Tragic news confirmed this week from the icy waters off the Aleutian Islands. Todd Meadows, a 25-year-old deckhand on the Aleutian Lady, passed away while at sea, leaving friends, family and fans in quiet disbelief. Known for his energy and dedication, Todd had become a beloved figure among the cast and viewers of Deadliest catch, his presence both inspiring and uplifting in the harshest of environments. Born and raised in a small coastal town, Todd grew up with the sea in his veins. Fishing was more than a job, it was a way of life, a legacy passed down through generations. He learned early that the ocean demanded respect, patience and courage, lessons he carried with him onto every deck he worked. Crew members often recall his steady hands during storms and his ability to keep spirits high, even when the waves reached terrifying heights. Todd was the heart of the deck, Captain Rick Shelford shared softly in a statement. He worked hard, loved deeply and brought joy to those around him. His bravery and laughter will stay with us forever. These words echoed a sentiment shared by the close-knit fishing community, who knew Todd not just as a crew member, but as a loyal friend and a steady presence in moments of uncertainty. Life on the Aleutian Lady was never easy. The cold was bone-deep, the winds unforgiving and the work exhausting. Yet Todd approached each day with quiet determination. Fellow deckhands described him as someone who would offer a helping hand without hesitation, or a joke to lighten the tension when the storm raged on. He was young, yes, but his maturity at sea, his respect for both his crew and the ocean, set him apart. Social media quickly filled with tributes from fans and colleagues alike. One post read, "He made every episode feel alive." Todd's spirit was bigger than the Bering Sea itself. Another reflected, "The world lost a young man who had so much to give, but we'll never forget the joy he brought to our screens and hearts." Even outside the fishing community, Todd's warmth and dedication resonated with viewers, a reminder of the human stories behind the daring adventures on television. Despite the sorrow, Todd's life leaves a lasting impact. He reminded those around him of the importance of courage in the face of danger and kindness in daily life. His love for the sea and the people he worked with was evident in every action, every smile, every shared moment on the deck. In interviews he often spoke about family and community, emphasizing that the connections he made on and off the boat mattered more than any catch. As the Aleutian waters reflect the fading light of another winter day, Todd Meadows' legacy remains steadfast. He will be remembered not only for his skill and bravery but for the joy and humanity he brought into a world that can be both beautiful and unforgiving. In the quiet moments between waves and in the hearts of those who sailed beside him, Todd's spirit endures. A young man who faced the vast Bering Sea with courage, laughter and an unforgettable heart. Captain Shelford offered a final reflection, "We lost a brother today. But every time the Aleutian Lady sails, Todd sails with us. He'll never truly be gone." And with that, the memory of Todd Meadows lingers, a poignant tribute to a life lived with courage, kindness and an unshakable love for the sea. Quiet reflections swept through Hollywood this week as news arrived of the passing of Andrew Gunn, a visionary producer whose work shaped a generation of family cinema. At 56, Gunn lost his battle with ALS, leaving behind not only an impressive body of work but a lasting influence on storytelling that brought joy to millions of viewers. His creativity and warmth were felt on every set, every frame, and in every family who watched his films grow into cultural touchstones. Born in Los Angeles, Gunn's early fascination with film blossomed into a career that combined heart and imagination. From the bright, chaotic energy of Freaky Friday to the soaring adventures of Sky High, he crafted stories that resonated with children and adults alike. Colleagues often recall his ability to balance the pressures of production with a genuine care for the cast and crew. Andrew had a way of making every person on set feel like part of the family, one longtime collaborator shared. He brought laughter, patience, and a belief that stories could change lives. Gunn's approach to filmmaking was both thoughtful and joyful. He believed that movies could teach lessons about courage, kindness, and resilience without ever feeling heavy-handed. His productions often showcased characters discovering their own strengths, learning empathy and embracing individuality, values Gunn carried in his own life. Those who worked closely with him remember a man who listened as much as he led, who inspired trust and creativity in equal measure. Fans took to social media to express their admiration and grief. One post read, "Andrew Gunn's movies made my childhood magical. The laughter, the lessons, the memories, thank you for everything." Another reflected, "He showed the world that family films could be smart, funny and heartfelt all at once. We will miss his vision dearly." These tributes highlight the quiet but profound impact he had on audiences far beyond the studio lot. Even in the face of illness, Gunn's commitment to storytelling never wavered. Friends and family recall the courage with which he faced IS, a disease that slowly took physical strength but never dimmed his imagination or his love for cinema. He approached every challenge with grace and determination, said a close family member. His creativity and kindness remained unchanged until the end. Andrew Gunn's legacy is evident in the continued popularity of his films. Generations of children grew up laughing, learning, and dreaming because of his vision. The worlds he created on screen encouraged exploration, empathy, and joy. For every actor, director, and crew member he guided, he left a model of what it means to lead with heart and integrity. As Hollywood mourns, the stories Gunn nurtured continue to live on, playing in homes, theaters, and hearts worldwide. His influence reaches beyond box office numbers, touching the imaginations of families and inspiring young filmmakers to pursue their dreams with courage and creativity. In remembering Andrew Gunn, we celebrate a life dedicated to the magic of storytelling, one that reminded audiences everywhere of the power of wonder and heart. Andrew's films will continue to inspire and bring joy, a collaborator noted, and that is the truest measure of a life well lived. Though his voice is silenced, the worlds he helped create remain, a lasting testament to a man who shaped family cinema with vision, warmth, and an unwavering belief in the power of stories. A quiet sadness settled over the music world this week as news arrived of John Paul Hammond's passing. At 82, the blues guitarist and singer, whose life was dedicated to authentic American blues, left behind a legacy that spanned more than 5 decades. Known for his soulful performances and deep respect for musical tradition, Hammond's influence touched fans, fellow musicians, and the very heart of the genre he loved so deeply. Born into a family steeped in music, John Paul was the son of the legendary producer John Henry Hammond. While his father's name opened doors, John Paul quickly proved that his own talent and dedication could carve a distinct path. He began performing in the early 1960s, immersing himself in the blues of the Mississippi Delta, Chicago, and beyond. Musicians who played alongside him often noted his humility and reverence for the history behind every note he played. Hammond's career was marked by collaboration and mentorship. He shared stages with some of the genre's most iconic figures, yet never sought the spotlight for himself. John Paul had a way of making the music speak louder than anyone, longtime collaborator Bonnie Raitt once said. You felt every chord, every lyric. He lived the blues, not just played it. Fans remember the quiet intensity of his performances, where emotion flowed as naturally as the notes themselves. Over the decades, Hammond's recordings captured both the rawness and beauty of the blues. Albums like So Many Roads and Ready for Love reflected a lifetime of listening, learning, and sharing the music he cherished. Critics praised his authenticity, noting that he never compromised the essence of the blues for commercial success. Social media filled with tributes following news of his death. John Paul Hammond taught us that music is living history, one fan wrote. Another reflected, every time I hear him play, I hear decades of passion and soul. Despite a long career, Hammond remained committed to passing on the tradition. Workshops, live performances, and collaborations with younger artists ensured that the blues he loved would continue to inspire future generations. Friends and colleagues remember him as generous, patient, and deeply connected to both the music and the people around him. His dedication was a bridge between past legends and the musicians of today. John Paul Hammond's impact reaches far beyond his recordings. He reminded the world that music carries memory, emotion, and culture. Through his performances, he celebrated the struggles and joys of life, honoring the roots of American blues while inviting listeners into a shared experience of humanity. Every note he played was a testament to discipline, heart, and respect for history. As the blues community mourns, his legacy remains firmly alive in the hearts of those who experienced his music. Festivals, recordings, and personal memories continue to celebrate a life devoted to artistry and authenticity. In remembering John Paul Hammond, fans and fellow musicians alike honor a man who carried forward a rich musical lineage, shaping not only his own era but the future of the blues. John Paul's music will live forever, fellow musician Taj Mahal said in tribute. And in that he's immortal. Though the final chord has been played, the echoes of his guitar, his voice, and his unwavering dedication continue to resonate, reminding us of the enduring power of the blues and the extraordinary life of a man who made it his own. Bobby J. Brown was a man who lived quietly, yet left a profound mark on American television. Born in the heart of Baltimore, Maryland, Brown grew up surrounded by the rhythm of the city. From a young age he displayed a deep curiosity for human stories, often observing people around him and imagining the lives they led. That curiosity would later shape his career, giving him a remarkable ability to bring authenticity and nuance to every role he undertook. Brown's journey into acting was not sudden. He began in community theater, performing in small productions that rarely made it beyond local audiences. Yet even in those early performances his talent was evident. Colleagues would remember him as a gentle presence, someone who could lift the energy of a room without ever drawing attention to himself. His performances were never about spectacle, they were about truth. He had a rare ability to inhabit a character fully, to understand their fears, their hopes, and their quiet moments of vulnerability. Television would eventually call him. Bobby's breakthrough came with a supporting role in a critically acclaimed drama, a series that explored the intricate social landscape of an American city. While his name was not on every marquee, his performances resonated deeply with audiences and critics alike. He had the rare gift of making viewers feel that they knew the person on screen, that they could step into the world he inhabited. His work earned him respect within the industry, and while he was never the type to chase fame, his peers recognized him as a master of craft. Among his most notable appearances were roles connected to the iconic series The Wire. Brown's ability to portray complex, multidimensional characters made him a natural fit for the show's world, where every role carried weight and meaning. He brought a humanity to his performances that elevated the narratives around him, grounding even the most dramatic storylines in reality. His characters were not mere archetypes. They were living, breathing people with dreams, flaws, and depth. Yet outside of the camera lens, Bobby's life remained private and deeply personal. Friends describe him as a man of gentle humor, someone who could find joy in the smallest moments, a well-timed joke, a quiet walk, or a shared meal. He had a calming presence, a sense of steadiness that drew people toward him. Despite the often chaotic world of the entertainment industry, Brown remained rooted in his values, his family, and the communities he loved. Tragically, Bobby's life was cut short at the age of 62. He died in a barn fire in Chaptico, Maryland, a shocking event that stunned his family, friends, and the television community. The circumstances of his passing were heartbreaking, but those who knew him remember more than the manner of his death. They remember a life lived with integrity, compassion, and artistry. Tributes poured in from colleagues and fans alike, all noting the quiet power of his performances and the warmth he brought to every interaction. Bobby J. Brown's legacy is not measured in awards or headlines. It is measured in the subtle impact he had on those who watched him and worked with him. He reminded audiences that acting is not just about drama or spectacle. It is about connection, empathy, and truth. His characters reflected the complexities of everyday life, showing that even in a world of larger-than-life stories, the small human moments matter most. In reflecting on his career, one is struck by a sense of balance. Bobby existed between worlds. He straddled the line between visibility and privacy, between performance and personal reflection, between fame and quiet respect. And it is perhaps this very tension that made his work so compelling. He could disappear into a role entirely, yet leave a lasting impression that lingered long after the credits rolled. His absence is deeply felt, yet the memory of Bobby J. Brown endures through the stories he helped tell. For aspiring actors, he remains an example of how integrity and dedication can shape a career in meaningful ways. For audiences, he leaves behind a collection of moments that capture the beauty and fragility of the human experience. And for those who knew him personally, Bobby was, above all, a friend, a colleague, and a steady presence in a world that often moves too fast. Bobby J. Brown's life reminds us that sometimes the most powerful contributions are quiet, understated, and deeply human. Though his time with us ended far too soon, the characters he brought to life and the warmth he shared off-screen ensure that his spirit continues to resonate. In remembering him, we honor a man who gave so much through the simplest of gifts, the gift of genuine connection. In the tapestry of American television, Bobby J. Brown will always be remembered as an actor who bridged worlds, between performance and reality, between the public and private, and between the ordinary and the extraordinary. His craft was subtle, but its impact was undeniable. And for that, audiences and colleagues alike will remember him fondly, with gratitude, and with a deep sense of loss for a life that ended far too soon.